Welcome back. John Lennon and Yoko Ono cemented themselves as one of the most famous love stories in pop culture history. While they had their fair share of drama, of course, the world also remembers them as sharing an undeniable passion for one another.
One man who saw their bond firsthand was broadcaster Elliot Mintz. After meeting them during an interview in 1971, he became a trusted confidant and sounding board for the couple right up until John's tragic death. Now, 50 years on, Elliot is sharing the story of that powerful friendship. And Elliot Mintz joins us live from LA. Welcome to the show, Elliot.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
Can you take us back to that first time that you met John and Yoko? How did it go from an interview to a tight-knit friendship?
I interviewed them on a radio station that I had been working at in California. And the interview series of telephone calls between the two of us. And then the phone calls continued and continued and continued. We became phone pals, speaking virtually every single day, and when they came to Los Angeles, we met.
Okay, so this was a time before internet, of course, and Facebook and all those very easy ways to communicate. You actually set up your own hotline so the pair could phone you basically at any time. What sort of things would you talk about?
John and Yoko were two of the most informed, intriguing, mystifying people that I had ever met, and their interests were wide and varied. Our conversations involved politics, theology, history, Hollywood gossip, what was going on in our lives at the time. It was words without limit.
Beautiful. What made you decide after all these years that now is the time to share in this memoir?
Two things occurred. 2 years ago, I was visiting Yoko for her birthday and celebrating mine. Hers is on February 18th, mine is February 16th. And while visiting, their son, Sean Ono Lennon, urged me to write a book. He said, look, you were closest to the family at that time, and it's time. And so it was Sean's encouragement. And another thing occurred at that birthday. I realized that I was 79 years old. And if not now, I'd be doing this interview via Ouija board. So that's why I decided to do it now.
We're glad you're doing it this way, not the Ouija board. This week marks 44 years since the passing of John Lennon. When you look back at the man you knew, that we didn't know, but you knew, what's the biggest thing you learned? What's the thing that would surprise us the most?
Beyond all the celebrity, beyond Beatledom, beyond all the fanfare, he was a very, very down-to-earth, natural man. He sometimes referred to himself as a working-class hero. He didn't buy into the Lennon mythology. He just wanted to be treated, really, like everybody else. And it was a long shadow to kind of wrangle out of.
One of the big mysteries is whether the Beatles might have ever got back together if John hadn't died. Do you think we would have seen a reunion at some point?
You know, I hate to speculate, but in one of my last conversations with John, which was actually videotaped for Eyewitness News in Los Angeles on the ABC network, I asked him about that possibility, and he responded that if they called, you know, tomorrow and said, do you want to get together and make some music? You know, he wouldn't say no. He was open to that idea. As for a giant Beatles reunion where they'd be touring the world and all of that, in my opinion, based upon what John told me, that seemed highly unlikely.
Elliot, fascinating to talk to you this morning. Got some great stories to tell for sure, and we appreciate your time.
You're more than welcome. It was a pleasure being with you.
Thank you, Elliot. Sorry you had to see the candy cane challenge while you were waiting there. The book is called We All Shine On by Elliot Mintz, and that is available right now.